Finn stood nervously in the grand entrance hall of the Mystical Academy, his small hands clutching the hem of his oversized wizard robe. The 8-year-old boy's light skin was flushed with excitement, and his blonde hair peeked out from under a pointed wizard hat that was slightly too big for his head. His bright blue eyes darted around, taking in the ancient stone walls covered in tapestries depicting famous wizards and their magical feats. Finn couldn't believe he was finally here, ready to start his magical education. As he made his way down the corridor, Finn's eyes widened at the sight of floating candles illuminating the path ahead. The flickering flames cast dancing shadows on the walls, making the portraits of stern-looking wizards seem to come alive. Finn's footsteps echoed in the empty hallway, and he couldn't help but feel a little lonely. He wondered if he would make any friends in this strange new place. Suddenly, a door to his left creaked open, and out stepped a girl about his age. She had dark skin, curly black hair tied in 2 puffs, and warm brown eyes that sparkled with curiosity. The girl wore a similar robe to Finn's, but hers was adorned with shimmering stars that seemed to twinkle as she moved. "Hi there," she said cheerfully. "I'm Zara. Are you lost too?" Finn felt relief wash over him at the sight of a friendly face. "I'm Finn," he replied, smiling shyly. "And yeah, I think I am. Do you know where we're supposed to go?" Zara shook her head, causing her star-adorned robe to shimmer. "Not really, but I thought I heard voices coming from down there," she said, pointing down a dimly lit corridor to their right. As they walked together, Finn and Zara chatted about their excitement for learning magic. The corridor seemed to stretch on forever, lined with towering bookshelves filled with ancient tomes and scrolls. Finn's eyes were drawn to a particularly old-looking book with a glowing blue spine. As he reached out to touch it, Zara grabbed his hand. "Wait!" she exclaimed. "We probably shouldn't touch anything yet. Who knows what kind of magic these books might have?" Just then, a booming voice echoed through the hallway. "New students, this way please!" Finn and Zara exchanged excited glances and hurried towards the source of the voice. They emerged into a vast circular room with a domed ceiling that seemed to reflect the night sky. In the center stood a tall, imposing figure with a long silver beard and piercing green eyes. He wore flowing robes of deep purple and held a gnarled staff in one hand. "Welcome, young wizards, to your first day at the Mystical Academy," the wizard announced, his voice carrying easily across the room. "I am Archmagus Eldrin, and I will be overseeing your magical education." Finn felt a thrill of excitement run through him. This was it, he was about to learn real magic. Zara squeezed his hand, and he realized she was just as thrilled as he was. Archmagus Eldrin waved his staff, and suddenly, the air was filled with floating quills and parchments. "Your first lesson," he said with a twinkle in his eye, "will be learning to cast a simple levitation spell." Finn's heart raced. He had dreamed of this moment for so long, and now it was finally here. He gripped his wand tightly, ready to begin. The Archmagus demonstrated the spell, his voice clear and commanding as he spoke the incantation. "Leviosa minima," he intoned, and a nearby book rose gracefully into the air. The students watched in awe as the book floated gently back down to the table. "Now, it's your turn," Eldrin said, gesturing to the array of feathers that had appeared before each student. Finn stared at his feather, his mind racing. He took a deep breath, raised his wand, and said in a shaky voice, "Leviosa minima." Nothing happened. He tried again, and again, but the feather remained stubbornly on the table. Finn felt his cheeks grow hot with embarrassment as he looked around and saw other students' feathers beginning to twitch and rise. Zara noticed Finn's frustration and leaned over her. "Try focusing on the feather more," she whispered encouragingly. "Imagine it floating in your mind before you cast the spell." Finn nodded gratefully and closed his eyes for a moment, picturing the feather rising gracefully into the air. He opened his eyes, pointed his wand, and spoke the incantation once more. To Finn's amazement, the feather quivered and slowly began to rise. It wobbled uncertainly in the air, but it was definitely floating. Finn's face broke into a huge grin as he maintained his concentration, guiding the feather higher and higher. "I did it!" he exclaimed, turning to Zara with excitement shining in his blue eyes. Archmagus Eldrin appeared beside them, his green eyes twinkling with approval. "Well done, young Finn," he said warmly. "An excellent advice, Zara. 5 points to each of you for demonstrating the power of friendship and cooperation." Finn and Zara beamed at each other, their bond of friendship growing stronger with each passing moment. As the lesson continued, Finn found himself growing more confident with each successful spell. He and Zara worked together, offering each other encouragement and tips. The circular room was soon filled with floating feathers of all colors, creating a magical spectacle that left all the students in awe. When the lesson ended, Archmagus Eldrin gathered the students around him once more. "Remember," he said, his voice filled with wisdom, "magic is not just about saying the right words or waving your wand correctly. It's about belief, focus, and the strength of your spirit. And sometimes, it's about the friends who support you along the way." As they left the classroom, Finn turned to Zara. "Thanks for helping me," he said sincerely. "I don't think I could have done it without you." Zara smiled, her brown eyes warm with friendship. "That's what friends are for," she replied. "And besides, you helped me too. I was so nervous, but seeing you keep trying made me want to do my best as well." The two new friends made their way through the winding corridors of the Mystical Academy, marveling at the magical sights around them. Paintings waved as they passed, suits of armor glowed, and even the stones in the walls seemed to shimmer with arcane energy. Finn felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. As they reached the grand staircase leading to the dormitories, Finn and Zara encountered a group of older students. One of them, a tall boy with fiery red hair and freckles, sneered at them. "Look at the little firsties," he taunted. "Bet you can barely lift a feather, let alone cast a real spell." Finn felt his confidence wavering, but Zara stood tall beside him. "We may be first years," Zara said boldly, "but we're here to learn and grow. One day, we'll be just as good as you, maybe even better." The older students looked taken aback by her courage. Finn, inspired by his friend's bravery, added, "And we'll do it together, because that's what real wizards do, they help each other." The red-haired boy's sneer faded, replaced by a look of grudging respect. "Well said, firsties," he admitted. "Maybe you do belong here after all." As the older students moved on, Finn and Zara exchanged triumphant grins. They had faced their first challenge together and come out stronger for it. As the sun began to set, painting the sky outside the academy windows in brilliant shades of orange and purple, Finn reflected on his first day. He had learned his first spell, made a wonderful new friend, and discovered the true meaning of magical cooperation. As he and Zara parted ways to their respective dormitories, Finn knew that this was just the beginning of an amazing adventure. With friends like Zara by his side and the vast magical knowledge of the Mystical Academy at his fingertips, Finn felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in his journey to become a true wizard.